So individual racism is obviously something that you personally espouse and ascribe to, and that doesn't have a huge reach in society, maybe just around the people that you associate with, but the greater society is not as affected by your personal opinions as they are by institutional racism. So a great quote from our book was, "The major difference between individual and institutional discrimination is the wielding of power." So an individual obviously doesn't have as much power as an institution. And what institution really has more power in how generations of people think than schools? So we as educators and future educators have a real responsibility to understand this and get a handle on it and learn how to treat our students so that they can be better going forward. And I think the best thing that we can do for society as a whole is to lift where we stand. Like, if I knew all the answers to the questions that I had about racism, then I would be a famous woman. But nobody, generations of people before us, have been able to really figure out exactly why it happens and how to eliminate it. But what we can each do individually is lift where we stand, to do the things that we can do that are in our power. So some of the things that I've been thinking about are, is some racism self-imposed? I don't know if that's the right word, but there is some self-sorting that happens. So as our book talked about how people live in predominantly white neighborhoods or predominantly black neighborhoods, I couldn't help but think that there is some self-sorting, and birds of a feather do flock together. Do people consciously think, I only want to live in a white neighborhood? I don't think that a ton of people think that. I think that there's some socioeconomic issues that come into play. There's systemic issues. There's just a lot of factors that go in. So I think a lot of people may not say that they're racist, but end up being around other people that are like them. So that's just one question that I had is, what comes first, the chicken or the egg with that issue, right? And another question that I had, our book said that most teachers who have this colorblind attitude still punish young African American males more than they do white males. And so it got me thinking, like, is that because they hold them to a different standard subconsciously, or are there issues that young African American males have to deal with that help them to cope with the things that are going on in their lives, but that may come out badly at school? So for instance, young African American males have a lot more issues to deal with. They have to worry more about things like police brutality. They have to worry a lot more about discrimination. So are they acting out because of that or in spite of it? Like, what are the deeper reasons? Are the teachers just subconsciously racist? So that's one issue that I had. And just the last one I will talk about right now is that if we can't point out racism on an individual level, we can't point it out on an institutional level. So we need to be willing and open to talk about it with each other. We can't pretend that everybody can be treated equally, because not everybody is coming from equal places. So it's kind of like parenting. I have two kids that are totally opposite and need different things from me. And maybe people with different racial backgrounds need different things from us, from society, from teachers, from their educators. So while I don't have a ton of personal experiences to share about racism in my life, I know that I have a lot of questions, and I'm open to learning and hoping that we can all be honest in our discussions in this class and open to what one another has to say. Thanks.